Hey guys, and welcome back to Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. And it is now time for what is quite possibly my least favourite level in the entire game. This is Fishy Clues for Scooby-Doo. So there's one other level that competes with it. The difference being is that level, it's really only one section that I don't like. And I can't even remember what name it is. Like which area it is. It's not until much closer towards the end of the game, however, so we won't be going there for a while. So Fishy Clues for Scooby-Doo. Let us go through the list as to why I hate this level. Number 1, it's made up of 4 parts. Number 2, you have the sea creature that likes to hide inside the giant piles of fish and suddenly just jumps out at you. I mean, we've had plenty of times where the monsters just suddenly jump out, but usually it's pretty obvious where they are. These guys, it isn't. I mean, fair play, it's scary, but they're also everywhere. Number 3, the bottom floor, the floor of every single part is slippery. You cannot fully control yourself down there. Number 4, many of the Scooby snacks are in some very awkward to reach places. Like these, they're in between the conveyor belts that you then have to go against in order to get there, so it's also very easy to fall down. I hate this level so much. So we're going to be here for some time. Because, you know, if you want to get all the Scooby snacks, you've also got to go all the way down to the bottom floor. The bottom floor, there's only one floor, and you've got to go all the way down to the floor. I'm just trying to go against these conveyor belts is a nightmare. Right. You're going to fall down by accident plenty of times. Thankfully, I want to go down here, so it's not so bad. Trying to hit these guys with the slippery floor is very difficult. Because for one thing, that likes to happen a lot. It's like I clearly hit it and nothing happened. And there, I'm hitting it and nothing is happening. And I don't know why. Because they don't stay stunned for very long. It's fine once you get the ground pound move, but before then, it's really annoying. Because sometimes Scooby will stop when he hits them like that, which I expect him to do, but other times he'll go sliding away in any other direction. He'll either keep going forward or he'll start going backwards. And it's just really hard to steer yourself. I always hit that switch now, because I always forget what it does, but we won't be able to make use of that until much later. We need the umbrella power-up for that one. That allows us to ride the wind. Like with Mary Poppins, only we can't control it. It is simply what it says though, it is an umbrella. Sometimes these, I don't really see how these are inventions. I can maybe understand the galoshes, because at least they're designed to allow you to walk on sticky surfaces. Why he made them banana flavoured, I don't know, but at least they make sense. And technically, Professor Graham doesn't even invent the plungers, because we've already technically seen that with the Ghost of Hyde. He was climbing up those buildings thanks to those suction cups, and that's pretty much the same thing. And the umbrella is just an umbrella. Literally, that's it. There's nothing special about it. It's an umbrella. It looks like we need to find 4 keys to move on. Leave it to me. There are sea creatures in every single one of these, but I think they become a bit rarer from this point. I can't think which episode it's from. I think it's one of the few that's from the Scooby-Doo show rather than What's New Scooby-Doo. What's New Scooby-Doo wasn't even a thing at this point. Well, it might have been, but it was still still in production. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? I want to say it's an episode where there are 3 monsters. I think it's called a Gaggle of Galloping Ghosts or something like that. The only way to find out is to get its monster token and go to the monster gallery, but I don't think I have its monster token yet. So we won't be going there for some time. We have moving platforms. We have Captain Cutler. Oh, we've seen him already, but regardless. Still, he's never referred to as Captain Cutler in this game. He is always called the Ghost Diver. And I don't know why. What I do know is that his episode has the most uninteresting title of any Scooby-Doo. Why is it called A Clue for Scooby-Doo? That doesn't tell you anything. That can literally be the title for any episode of Scooby-Doo ever. But you will also it's also very easy to get quite annoyed by the Ghost Diver in this game because it always, I mean, all of the monsters tend to just make noises, but them in particular, it's just always the same. And it does start to get kind of annoying. Just made that. Why did it have to be something that I have to hit twice? Again, if I had the ground pound, I'd be perfectly fine. But unsurprisingly, you're going to be coming across quite a few sea creatures when you're in the coastal area. Most of them are here. This is the main place you're going to be spotting. You're going to be coming across them. There is one, I believe, just one single one in Shock on the Dock. We didn't go there. It's in an area that's covered in tar. We don't really need to go there until later on, because the main purpose for you going around there is, one, to get the last Scooby Snacks, and two, to get something to add on to your chewing gum power-up. So I didn't really feel the need to go around there, but there's like one. And this is where I suddenly realised, hang on, I'm going backwards. I was already here. Hey! Come back! Now let us try and go the right way. Yeah, you will come across like sea creatures on like some of the cliff areas and stuff like that. I'm not sure what you call it, because do you call it the sea cliffs? Because the sea cliffs is technically an area that's after the hedge maze. Even the hedge maze section has like a coastal area to it. It's mostly in caves, so it does look different, but it's confusing. That's why I'm generally referring to this as the coast. I mean, the sign at in the outside Mystic Manor says it's called Smuggler's Cove. But I don't know if that's supposed to be referring to the entire area or just the fishing village at the beginning. It's like how I keep calling it the hedge maze. But the hedge maze is technically just the first part. Because after that, you have the sea cliffs and then you have the graveyard. And none of those have a lot in common with each other. I mean, the graveyard has a few things returning from the hedge maze, so I guess you can count that. But the sea cliffs, certainly not. It's just a bunch of caves with a lot of water in them. Die, crabs, die. What a pointlessly large giant area. I mean, I think you do need to come up here for a key, but regardless, this bit is unnecessarily giant. And so ends part 2. Alright, we're halfway there. I freaking hate this level. It's so big. Freaking massive. The title isn't really much different from the episode. Maybe that's where they got it from. But they thought, you know what? There's fish all over the place. Let's call it Fishy Clues for Scooby-Doo. And you know what? It's better. I'm barely getting those Scooby Snacks, but I did it! The full row. What the hell kind of running animation is that? It's like it's trying to do a workout at the same time. Guess I'm sure it would look a bit weird if you're trying to run with a massive body and tiny and little thin arms like that, but what on earth kind of running animation is that? Is that how he ran? Is that how he ran in the show? I can't remember. But regardless, we have to go up here now. So as you notice, you probably don't want to fall back down again, otherwise you've then got... There's one straight way effort, so if you fail, if you fall down, you've got to go all the way back to the start. The Ghost Diver is one of those monsters that doesn't actually chase after you. They just follow this set path. I think more of them stay where they are than actually... I think more of them follow a set path than actually follow you, because I guess they're less dangerous. Because I believe the ones that chase you... Yeah, this is where I was sticking ahead. It's like the ones that chase you, I believe, are the creeper, the zombie. We can't get that yet. There's the creeper, there's the zombie. Oh no! No, I don't think the witch actually follows you. Ooh. The sea creature definitely follows you. I can't really say anything about the ghost of Captain Moody because we only ever see one of them outside of the boss fight. But in the boss fight, they do chase after you. But the one that isn't in the boss fight just stays in place. I think Geronimo chases after you as well. Most of them just follow a single set path. Some of them do throw projectiles. The tar monster will. Yeah, let's throw projectiles. Well, the witch kind of like shoots something from her wand. There we go. The tar monster is one that's I guess because the tar monster is one of the tougher enemies. I believe it is one of the ones that takes 2 hits to kill, but it's also... No, actually no, I think it is one that takes 1 hit to kill. It also throws projectiles. And it can make itself invincible for a bit by going down to the floor. So it's one that you don't come across that often early in the game. There was like one in... I think it's in Cower in the Tower. And even then, I don't think it's there when you first go into Cower in the Tower. I think you have to go back to the level later on to get it to spawn in. Other than that, the tar monster, they either place a few individual ones in some random places, or there's absolutely loads of them. Like when we get to the graveyard, right before we get to the second boss, literally right before, there's an area that's got like 4 tar monsters all lined up next to each other. 3 or 4 of them, I don't know why. But they will also throw the tar at you. Luckily, it's not nearly as dangerous as the one from Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. Like, that's a proper tar monster. It's a bit weird that it talks, when all the original thing did was just roar. Some of them are kind of weird roars, but that's all it did. Instead we got stuff like, "End of the line, do." It's easily it's like the only dangerous. Well, no, there's the 10,000 volt ghost, but he doesn't do anything. He just hangs around in one single area. So all the other ghosts in Scooby-Doo 2 weren't really that problematic. The Skeleton Men didn't do anything. I don't even know what the hell that Chickenstein thing was. Is that in an actual episode? Or was that just made up for the film? Like, all the others, I think, are actual, like, ghosts and monsters from episodes. I know the 10,000 volt ghost is from the Scooby-Doo show. The Black Knight, as always. It seems to be, I guess, because it was the first one, it's mandatory to have it. I think there's definitely been an episode of that pterodactyl ghost, but I've never actually seen that episode, so I'm not sure. Tar Monster, obviously. Captain Cutler was there. I don't know what the heck that Chickenstein thing was. All I know is he just vomits over a person. Those films are something. I don't hate either. I know there's 4 of them. I've never seen like the prequel ones, but in terms of like Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2, I never hated them, but I've also not seen them for a very long time. Especially the first one. I always preferred the second one. I always only ever thought of the first one as okay, and that was about it. But I did really enjoy the second one as a kid. Because the first one is, I'd say, even weirder than the second one. But the second one is all about, like, turning costumes into real-life ghosts. But the first one, you go to a spooky island, it's overrun with monsters that have... Maybe I missed a detail because it's been such a long time since I watched it, but where did those monsters come from? Because, like, they somehow have the monsters there. They train them up to try and talk like teenagers, so that they can take over their bodies to survive out in the sunlight and do stuff. What was Scrappy's plan in that movie again? Other than trying to kill Scooby? That was about it. Other than that, I really don't remember any part of how his plan was actually meant to work in that film. It's like, why are we training the monsters on how to talk like people? Why are we even trying to get them in people's bodies to begin with? Is it to get them off the island? Because if that's the case, then those people that we saw at the start of the film, they got off of the island perfectly fine. And one of them clearly had a monster in her. And she got off the island. Oh my god, we're finally there. By the way, I don't know if it's that one or one back in part 3. But make sure you don't jump over to those areas to the side there, because you need to use the umbrella to get out. And in one of them, it is actually possible to get into there without the umbrella. And then you're stuck. We'll go back to Pier on the Pier, because that F looks like a P to me. I'm standing still. Pass me, what are you doing? So you can go back to do more Fear on the Pier, because we now have the galoshes, but we still can't do everything until we get the ground pound, so we don't need to worry about going back to any of those other parts yet. Can't get that switch yet, and as such I can't get the Scooby snacks yet. It's so annoying when they're just right there, tempting you, but you can't get them yet. Again, this game has a lot of backtracking. And then you get these random areas to take you back to Mystic Manor. Why are there so many little areas and alcoves that take you back to outside Mystic Manor? And most of the time it's not even you don't even know where exactly you're going. Like, you'll never see the other side of that cave if you go through there. It simply takes you back to the courtyard where the mystery machine is. Bill's Boat Shop. Okay. So let's head on in here. Coast for some ghosts. So this is like the other cliffside area, along with the one in the hedge maze. How does a landscape take you from a hedge maze to sea cliffs to a graveyard? I mean, I guess you could just say that they're near the coast. So, you know, I think that answers my question, really. You won't be able to get most of these Scooby snacks. You need the umbrella. Why is that there? What is the point of that? What did the caveman sound like in his episode? Because the sound effects that come from this caveman do not sound right. Like, the caveman sounds really weird. Like, his sounds are so high-pitched. Even then, does a caveman really count as a monster or a ghost? Like, isn't the idea supposed to be that he was frozen, but he was never actually dead? It's not really a ghost, it's just someone lost in time. Suddenly I'm reminded of Nora Freeze. But that's probably because I've been recently playing Arkham City. Right, so many Scooby Snacks that we can't get in this level. Right, I can't go over there. Now I don't remember if that counts as a checkpoint. For the most part, areas only have one, or only just like one thing. So it's like if you die right at the end of some of the bigger areas, you gotta now go all the way back through it again. But there are some that do have checkpoints, and I think that might be one of them. I'm not sure. What a miserable life you have. Well, what a miserable afterlife you guys have. Oh look, another one. At least he's not jumping out at me anymore. More keys. Why is there so many keys? Why does every door have so many padlocks on it? Look at all these Scooby Snacks. I think Coast for Some Ghosts is one of the higher ones in terms of number of Scooby Snacks. Because some of them do have an awful lot. And there we go. Part 2. Oh, sorry. Coast for Some Ghosts! Exclamation mark. Actually, I think every episode does that. I mean, even the name is technically Scooby-Doo! Exclamation mark. So I guess it doesn't really matter. Now, somebody in the development team must have really liked crabs, because they're freaking everywhere. I know we're on the coast, but calm down. Didn't need to have this many crabs. Right, watch out. These things do fall down. I think I missed a Scooby Snack. I still missed a Scooby Snack. Was that a Scooby Snack or was that food item? What the hell with it? We'll be back. Every area will be back. In fact, I think generally the only places you'd ever have to revisit are the shipwrecks. Even though you still won't have the 2 of the power-ups, I don't think you ever actually have to go back to most of the shipwreck levels. Maybe a couple of them, but for the most part you don't need to. They don't have things that require you to get the gum or the bubbles. There might be a couple of things, but otherwise I think they're fine. So they were saying, yeah, we know that these levels are annoying, so we're just gonna give you everything on your first run through. I just went right under that box of Scooby Snacks. How did I do that? I never even noticed that was there. Oh my god. Oh look, there's the sea creature's token. Well, as you can no doubt tell how you're supposed to get to it. Unfortunately, I cannot get to it. Therefore, it is okay that I missed that box of Scooby Snacks. Okay, yeah, this one I don't think had that many Scooby Snacks. I was definitely thinking of the other one. Which is fine by me. I mean, there's still plenty of Scooby Snacks we don't have, but anyway. Right! Most pointless area, really. This one is kind of just here for the sake of going to a few different places. Going down which way, part 1 of 1. This is the only going down which way section. It's not like Cower in the Tower, where it serves as Panic in the Attic part 1. It's even all the way out here. How did you get all the way out here? I think this is actually the last time we see him. Yeah, some old shipwrecks out there. We're not going to be going there for a long time. Hey, look, it's the tar monster. It does make some strange noises here, though. It's like if he sees you, he goes, "Ah!" It's like, what kind of a noise is that? Well, when he dies, he's like, "Ah!" I know he does make some weird. My favourite was always in Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, where it's like he's chasing after, I think it's the Shaggies. It's like he loses sight of them, and then he makes this really weird mumbling noise, like whatever you call it. It's like, meh, meh, meh. So what is that? What kind of sound is that? Like standard roaring, okay, but what on earth is supposed to is? It's like, what kind of a noise is that? All right, we have a chase sequence here. Watch out, the sea levels are rising. Yeah, that is the fastest moving tide I've ever seen. Oh, I fell down. Luckily, it instantly goes away. I almost said it infinitely goes away. That doesn't make any sense. This thing's out for blood. Right, let's do it again. Luckily, it's easier when there's no Scooby snacks. What a strange little place to have that. Camera does not work with you here. It really doesn't. Come on. There we go. This is like a giant drain pipe. How is anybody supposed to turn that? But yeah, they go down in one hit, not two. And that is a very randomly placed flower. It's like they were suddenly thought, oh yeah, we've given them a shovel power. But that's kind of what it is, because you will come across the occasional random flowers. As if just to remind you, yes, the shovel power-up is here. Lighthouse, Fright House, and the only one of its 3 parts that actually takes place in the lighthouse. Everything else either just takes place beneath the lighthouse, or I'm not even sure what part 3 is supposed to be. Alright, now it's a race. Activate that, and then make your way up. Just keep running, charge into all the ghosts, and then just keep going. There's a lot of stuff in your way, but luckily the light does move pretty slowly. But it will only stay at the top for so long, that's why you do need to hurry. So many Scooby snacks. Meanwhile, a random witch. There you go, go in here, destroy that. And I got whatever that description said, but I'm going to call it the ground pound. Best power-up in the game. It gives you a tiny little bit more airtime. Yeah, you are going to go straight back down, but Scooby's jump kind of already does that anyway. So it gives you a tiny bit more airtime, which is better than you think it would be. You can bounce off of enemies to gain additional heights, because you can also double jump upon bouncing off of them. The ground pound is terrific, and now it makes getting rid of those sea creatures and fishy clues for Scooby-Doo so much easier. I really should have used the bounce there though, because there's a box of Scooby snacks up there. Luckily, I have this thing. I don't think that's how they wanted you to get up there, but regardless, I got it. Right. There we go. They still take the same number of hits though. It's also the only power-up that gets its own upgrade. Well, I guess you could say that the slippers and lampshade get an upgrade as well in the Black Knight suit. But we will be upgrading this later on. Again, not sure what the point of that thing is. It just takes you back to Mystic Manor. We have no purpose to use it. Because you don't want to go back to Mystic Manor. Okay, as you can see, there are 2 doors. These are some really annoyingly placed Scooby snacks. I'll go after them later on, but... So, what's on the upper door first? That takes us back to going down which way. Lighthouse, Fright House is 3 parts, but in order to get to part 3 you have to go back to going down which way. Why can't we just go to Lighthouse, Fright House part 3? Unfortunately, although this area is here, we can't really get that far through it. Those two sync. And there we go, now we can't go anywhere. Can't go anywhere else, we need the umbrella. For all that over there, need the umbrella just to get through the first part. And I got too close to the sea. So let's go back. Why is it called part 1? There's only 1 part. Even the Mystery Machine had 2 parts, since the playground counted as part 2. I didn't really want to go through Lighthouse, Fright House part 1 again, so I'm just trying to do it this way. I probably could still just then jump down and then walk off the edge, but that never occurred to me. So I'm going to try and do this the complicated way. And there we go. Right, back to part 2. So we're going to start by going after those annoyingly placed Scooby snacks. Because you essentially have to run through the entire part of the level. If you were going from part 1, the entrance that we started off in. You hit that switch, and then you go back down here, because that activates this thing to get these few Scooby snacks. And you then have to go all the way around all over again, because there's no shortcut back up. You really couldn't add in a shortcut. So instead we gotta go through all this again. Luckily we've already got everything. So all we really need to worry about is just getting past the monsters. And the hooks. Nearly there. By the way, I don't know how I swear I was defying gravity the first time I went along that bridge. Right. And now a random way back into Mystic Manor. Just how big is this mansion? It's like we are nowhere near Mystic Manor at this point. Even though there is an entrance, even though there is a way that takes us back there. We are now somehow back in Mystic Manor. This is creepy crawlies in the hallways. Meet the ghost of Captain Moody. He will appear in 1 boss fight later on in huge numbers, but otherwise, this is the only time you ever see him in the entire game. And the fact that he appears in so many of him in that 1 boss fight makes him better than Geronimo. Oh, he does chase after you. Okay, I was thinking he probably does because he does in the boss fight. But he constantly just goes, beware. I also have no idea who he is. I have no idea what episode he's from. I thought I saw every episode of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, and the Scooby-Doo show. Which I think at some point was called Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? It got really confusing. Beware. Unless it's from the new Scooby-Doo movies. Right, we're going to end things off here, so I will see you guys